Hi, this is Brett Singley at Innovise. I'm product manager for SCADAwatch, and I wanted to show you quickly how you might be able to compare some data that's already collected by SCADA in your system with some that you might be collecting by other methods so that you can compare it and maybe do some reporting on it. So I've already loaded in what's the measured data. Uh, so this stuff would already be coming in. I loaded it in through this same process that I'm about to show you for these other sensors, but normally that's going to be already part of the implementation. It's going to already come in through your main historian, so you won't have to do that step. But I'll show you how easy it is to go in the back end and play with one of these sensors. We'll go with this Beaverton one. I'll edit, bring in that data, make sure that the name makes sense. So I used EST for the estimated, what the city estimated they were going to use. The field data is already date and time. The channel field, so that the value is what we find there, and it's in million gallons per day. Then down here in the advanced tab, I can say, yes, this file had multiple different tags in it. If it all was from one sensor or from one location, you wouldn't have to do this. But then I can pop that in here. That's all it takes to update and fill in existing data that I might have had outside of SCADA. Once I add that, I can go over to my other view and click on Enable Live Data, and it pops in that data right where it is expected. I purposefully had it stop a data point early so that I can show you how I can do that in a different method if I'm doing this on a regular basis. Now I'm going to speed up the video as I connect those other two pieces of data. Here's some elevator music so you don't get bored. Okay, so once we have all these set up, there's different ways that we can start to look at this data. We can also create these things called biz blocks, so we can look at the difference between these. So we can take the Hillsboro measured data and the estimated data and basically subtract one from the other so I can get this difference in data. And that will put it into this format. That's gonna, in this case, we're only either one or above or below the red data. But I can use that to then put into a report or visually look at here. So there's several different ways that we might want to look at it. This is an example of how we could put all these on one graph and have the observed and measured in one spot. We can look at each of the differences separately. There's lots of different ways that we can play with this data so that we can make a nice little dashboard just within SCADAwatch. But the other really nice thing we can do is we can create a report. So I have already created a report, and I'll go into that here. It's a pretty simple interface. So in this custom report, you can see that this, you can drag and drop images wherever you need to. I can add text, I can add different headers, footers, anything that might be interesting. Inside my graph, I can change, for instance, the way that the format of the x-axis. You have complete control over everything inside your region. And in your tables, you also have control. I'll give an example here. In this difference, we wanted to be able to control it so that if your value is less than 0 in this table, then make it show and make it highlighted in red. So we were able to do that. And we can go ahead and look forward to the full report where we can see all that data that came in. And we can see that when it went below, we were able to trigger it to automatically turn red. So that is that data. And I want to go back really quickly. Again, this just updates every time you every time you turn it on. You could say, look at the last 7 days or whatever criteria you want this report to be constantly looking at. You can do a month at a time. You could do, you set that to be whatever your default desire is. But now I want to show you, I mentioned that I only went to day 19 of this month. So I could actually throw in one more data piece. So instead of having to go through here each day and load up something, I can actually go right into my sources in the main interface of SCADAwatch and say, look at my updatable entry. So I can change this entry time. So by default, it's going to just go with whatever is right now. But if I change it to show that I'm putting in data points for tomorrow, I'm just going to add values to these estimated updatable values. So on here, I think Beaverton and your thing was 14, Hillsboro was 8, and TVWD was 2. I can hit finish. And I have this thing updating for my live data every minute. But so that we don't have to wait for that, I can turn it off and back on and it'll automatically trigger an update. So I hope that shows you how easy it can be to update these sensors so that you can create these nice reports and be able to finally look at some of that SCADA data that's so valuable to you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to shoot us an email or give me a call. Again, I'm Brett Singley at Innovize. Thank you.